I'm a bit worried that it's not. I'm just waiting for the chat to kick in. Let me know. Let me know. Do I sound okay? Do I sound like a robot? Do I sound normal? Yay, the sound's good. Okay, I wonder what that was. I turned my headphones off, so I'm wondering if that was maybe part of it. If maybe my headphones were being silly. So someone asked, why did I move into my flat, my house, only to move out again? And I was halfway through telling you the reason before I found out that the sound was weird. So the reason was because I had to get out of my flat because I was going to be renting out my flat, and obviously I needed to not be in my flat in order for someone else to move in. So I moved out and moved into the house, but I didn't unpack anything really. I unpacked my kitchen stuff because I knew I'd be there for at least 2 months, and so I needed to have enough stuff to like cook and clean and whatnot. And I unpacked some clothes and like bathroom toiletries and stuff, but everything else sort of stayed in boxes in my living room. So I was there for about 2 months, and then I realised that renovation. Well, I thought I was going to be able to live in my house whilst renovations were going on because I didn't think I was going to be doing it all at once. But it turned out it would be more expensive to do it gradually, bit by bit. So I realised the best thing to do would just be to get out of the house properly. So that's why I'm now at my brother's house. So yeah, this week I had a seriously awesome week. I can't say too much about it, but I have been told that I am allowed to say that I was working with Andrew Lloyd Webber this week. For those of you that don't know who Andrew Lloyd Webber is, he wrote Cats, Joseph, Jesus Christ Superstar. I mean, he's got like all the best shows. So yeah, I was working on his version of Cinderella this week, and it's a really awesome new version of Cinderella. And I was playing Cinderella, and it was really cool. And it's the first time I've properly worked with / for Andrew Lloyd Webber. So yeah, it was really good. I had a great time. It was a really good week. Where is my phone? Please feel free to share that I'm doing this live stream. I'm going to put it on Instagram now. Hey everyone, I'm live on YouNow. Swipe up to come and join, and ask all your questions and have a lovely time chatting with us all. Yay! Do the little swipey up link. Oh no, not toy now. YouNow.com/Carrie H. Fletcher. I never really watch Eurovision. I don't know why, because I know I like it and I enjoy it, but I never realise it's on until it's on. I never realise it's actually happening until it's already on TV. Like, never have I ever heard anyone say, oh, Eurovision in a week, make sure to watch. Like, it's always like, Eurovision's on now! And I'm like, oh, I'm already doing something. So I never really get a chance to properly see it. I'm going to be painting my nails, just to let you know. So if I'm looking down and talking, that is why. It's because I'm painting my nails, because I haven't painted my nails in a very long time. And tomorrow I'm going to the Mousetrap Awards, which I'm very excited about. I'm going with Sophie Isaacs and Becky. We are there representing Heathers because Heathers is nominated for a couple of awards. So yeah, I'm just giving my nails a little paint before I go tomorrow. Oh my god, Erica Knox, that's such a blast from the past. I don't think I'd ever bring her back just because the reason Erica Knox existed in the first place. For those of you that don't know, Erica Knox was like a clone of me on my YouTube channel, like when my YouTube channel was first starting out. And the only reason that she existed was because I was just playing around with editing, and I figured out that, you know, you can make clones of yourself and you can have more than one of you on the screen. So the only reason she existed was more as like an experiment, just to see whether I was capable of editing that well, which is why she never carried on. She never continued past sort of 3 or 4 videos. Someone's asking, if you go to an open audition, can you tell people about it? Yeah, if they don't make you sign an NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement, which means legally you can't tell anyone about it, then yeah, you should be allowed to tell people about it. I don't see why not. I don't know if I can confirm nor deny whether I will be at West End Live, whether I'll be performing at West End Live. I'll be there at West End Live, but whether I'm performing or not, I can neither confirm nor deny. I didn't watch the Heathers Riverdale episode because I don't watch Riverdale, and I feel like it would have been weird to like jump in halfway through a season to watch an episode because I don't know who any of the characters are, what the story is. I would have been very lost. I wouldn't have known what was going on. Are you ever scared to let something slip that you shouldn't have? Yeah. Keeping secrets is one of the hardest parts of this industry. It's really difficult because a lot of the time, you know, you're allowed to tell like your mum and your dad and your family and stuff. And so you spend time talking about it with people who, you know, are allowed to know, and you spend time like preparing for it, doing rehearsals, doing press, doing press that's like due to be released when the time comes. So you do spend a lot of time talking about it. And sometimes it's really difficult to remember who knows and who doesn't. And sometimes it's super easy just to catch yourself right before you're about to let some things slip. Currently, I don't think I have any big secrets. Cinderella is over now, and that's all been sort of like released. It's sort of being talked about now, and I've been told that I'm allowed to, like, I was allowed to post the picture last night of us and the cast and whatnot. The reason I'm going to LA is because I have very kindly been invited by Disney UK to the Aladdin world premiere, which is taking place in LA. And they're flying me and Oliver out for like 2 nights to go and see the premiere and then come home again. So that will be like an officially #gifted trip, because I have had contact with the brand. They have officially invited me. So yeah, I will be going to LA to the Aladdin world premiere, which is on Tuesday, I think. So that's why I'm going to LA. I will be vlogging it, and I will be also keeping up with the me, myself and I. Oh, it's not that. The me, myself and I. That's why I called it that. The me, myself and I videos whilst I'm out there as well, as much as I can. Seeing as Joe Sugg has sort of opened the doors to YouTubers being on big shows, would you ever be on Strictly? I don't think I can handle the pressure of being on Strictly, if I'm completely honest. I think I would crumble, because I hate performing as myself. I love performing as a character. I love being in shows. I love having lines to say and costumes to wear and lyrics to sing. But I hate doing concerts where I'm just on stage as myself, and that is basically what Strictly is. But not only that, I like when I have to sing, I'm like, well, I'm a singer, that's my job. I'm a singer and actor. But dancing, like, whilst I can dance, that's not my strength. So not only would I be going out there in front of a crowd of lots of people as myself, I'll be going out there to do something that I'm not confident in. So I think Strictly would terrify me. I was asked to do Pointless. They did a musical theatre version of Pointless, and I said no because I was too scared. Yeah, I'm just not. I don't want to do stuff like that. It scares me too much. I can't take that kind of pressure. Sorry. I did do Family Fortunes, that is true, but that was kind of different because it was my brother was like in the spotlight. It wasn't me. I was just part of Tom's family. And I was there with a lot of other people as well, so it wasn't just a case of like me being up there on my own. It was everyone. So that was better. Same with Deal or No Deal. But yeah, when it's a case of having to dance and like perform in public as myself, or answer like really hard questions, the pressure will genuinely get to me and I'll crumble a bit, I think. This YouTube drama, I don't understand really what's going on. I've heard bits about it. I think I said a lot on it last week. I just don't have any interest in getting involved in it because I just don't know enough about it. I didn't follow either of the people involved, being James Charles and Tati. I didn't follow or support either of them in the first place. So it makes no difference to me what happens. Like, I'm not involved. I'm not gonna get. Yeah, exactly. It's not worth getting caught up in something that you're not involved in the first place. Training for my run is going really well. I ran 7K this morning, which is only 3K away from what I've got to run in just over a week, or a week. Is it a week tomorrow? It's a week tomorrow. No, week Monday. I don't know. Yeah, week Monday, I think. So yeah, I think I did really well. I'm still slow AF, but the point of the run isn't to get the best time. It's not a race on for the Vitality 10K. It's about the point is that we're all running in our underwear to raise awareness that all bodies are capable of running. All bodies should, be allowed to exercise, as stupid as that sounds. Like, so many people say that what annoys me, let's get into this. What annoys me is when people put down plus size people, fat people, put them down for not exercising enough, but then ridicule them when they are exercising. They ridicule them when you do see them in the gym. You do see bigger people in the gym running on a treadmill. They then get ridiculed. So it's like, what do you expect? What do you want? You either want everyone to exercise and get the right amount of exercise that everyone should be getting regardless of what their bodies are, or you don't. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't ridicule someone for being fat and then ridicule them for exercising. And I know that there was a big, ridiculous uproar when Nike, I think it was Nike, could be Adidas, a big sports brand, came out with plus-sized sportswear, because there are so few brands that do sportswear in bigger sizes, which is ridiculous. But a big sports brand, I think it was Nike, came out with a plus-size range, and there was loads of people in an uproar being like, oh, I don't even know what their point was. Like, that's how ridiculous it is. I can't even tell you what their argument was. Their argument was just, you shouldn't be mollycoddling fat people, or I don't even know what their issues were, but it was just ridiculous, because it's like, you can't ridicule people for being fat or being plus size or whatever you're ridiculing them for to do with their body, and then not allow them the space to exercise. Bored. It's boring. So that's why we're all running for the Vitality 10K. We're all running in our underwear. I think there's like 800, 900 women right now who have signed up to go and run. You don't have to run in your underwear, but I'm running with a group who is running in their underwear. I've got a pair of Runderwear, which is the genuine name of the underwear. It's called Runderwear. It's got my name on my arse cheeks. And I've got a nice sports bra from Freya, who very kindly gifted that to me because of running in this race. Not race, running in this run. And so I want to sew like loads of flowers and petals and stuff to it, just to make it more fun, to make it look, I mean, it's like just a grey sports bra at the moment, so I want to make it look funky. How do I warm up before I run? Usually I just walk for a little bit. I know it sounds like very simple and pointless, but apparently you're not supposed to static stretch before a run, which means you're not supposed to just like stand there and do just like stretches where you hold a stretch. Apparently the best warm-ups for running is to walk for a bit and just get the blood pumping to your muscles. And it gets your body used to the motion of like the back and forth sort of motion that you're about to be doing. But yeah, I ran 7K today and I was really thrilled. basically the place that I run, there's a water. Oh, thanks, Max D. There's a water fountain, sort of like situated on the loop. And so I run from where I live to the place where I like to run halfway round, and then there's a water cooler, and I quickly get some water and then carry on for another loop. And then that's like the water cooler is essentially where I stop. So it's 2.5k there and 2.5k round. So I did there, round once, and then another 2. So I stopped. I reached 7k just before the water cooler, the water fountain. So it's kind of perfect, really. But yeah, I was only gonna run 6. Well, I was gonna run 7, and I typed in 7, but I did think I was being a little bit ambitious when I typed it in, because I had a very late night last night. I got in at like 3:30 last night, or this morning, because it was the last night of the workshop, the Cinderella workshop, so we were all out celebrating. So I didn't wake up until like 12:30 today. And so when I typed in 7k, I was like, all right, it's a bit ambitious, fair enough. And I typed it in and I was like, right, if I can't make it, it's fine. Like, I've had a heavy night. If I can't make it, it's okay, but I need to do at least 6. And I got to 6 and thought, I'm knackered, but sod it. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to push. I'm going to push through. And yeah, I did the last. Okay. And it took me 55 minutes, which I don't think is bad, because my pace was up from the last 5k that I ran. I can't remember exactly what the paces were. Let me have a look. I use the Nike running app. So my last 5k, my average pace was 8 minutes and 1 second to run a kilometre. And today for 7k, it was 7 minutes and 52 seconds to run a kilometre. So my pace is up by like a good 9 seconds, 10 seconds. So I'm very happy about that. G and I haven't been running together because our schedules just clashed. Like, I've been working for the last 2 weeks on this workshop, and so I've just not. And she's more of a like get up straight away in the morning and go out. And she gets, because she's got 3 kids, she gets up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, earlier than that. So she's out of the house before I'm even awake, or she's out of the house whilst I'm getting on a bus to go to work. So I'll run when I get home. Or if I'm just having like a normal day off, I usually get up later anyway. And so I'll go for a run sort of around midday. And by then she's already done her run. If anyone's watching on YouTube, come over to YouNow, because that's the chat that I look at. So if you're on YouTube, I'm never going to look at that chat. So come over to YouNow and watch here. It's just younow.com/Carrie H. Fletcher. Can't say my own name. Join us. Right, so Game of Thrones. I'm obsessed with Game of Thrones. I think it's amazing. I think I'm going to stay up tomorrow night and watch the final episode before I fly to LA on Monday morning. And I don't know how it's going to end. No spoilers. I don't know how it's going to end. But I'm hoping it ends with a woman on the throne. No, I promise you, no spoilers. I'm hoping it ends with a woman on the throne who is worthy of being on the throne. Or I want Tyrion to be on the throne because Tyrion's my favourite, but I think that's too much wishful thinking. I love Tyrion. Tyrion's honestly my favourite. I love him. I really want to pull this towards. Oh, would I be able to? If I move back, pull this over. Just because I want to lean up against the sofa. Oh, God. Is this even working? Am I just making this worse? I don't know. I mean, that'll do. There we go. Nailed it. Nailed it. Out of all the roles, which one has been the most challenging and why? Definitely Heather's. Veronica was really challenging, purely just for the amount of stage time. Like, there's just no time to breathe in that role. Once you're on stage, that's it. You were on stage until the end of the show. Obviously, bar the interval. So, like, when I was in Les Mis, I'd do my ensemble track and the pressure would be off because no one's looking at me. I'm sort of hidden in the back. People are watching Fontaine and they're watching whoever else. No one's looking at me. So the pressure would be off. And then I'd go upstairs, I'd make a cup of tea, I'd get into my Eponine costume. I'd go downstairs and finish Act 1 as Eponine. I'd open Act 2 as Eponine. I'd be on for 15 minutes. I'd die. I'd go back upstairs. I'd make another cup of tea. I'd have a shower to wash all the blood and the dirt off. And then I'd go on for the end of the show. Like, when I was on stage, I was like focused and it was intense. And Les Mis is like high emotions. But I'd have those moments in the show where I'd have a cup of tea and I'd breathe and the pressure would be off. And Addams Family was the same. Like, I had breaks in that show, 2 15-minute breaks in that show where I'd sit and breathe and it'd be fine. And the pressure would be off me. But Heather's was like, everyone's looking at me all the time. Like, there was no hiding. It was just a very exposing role. And it made me feel very vulnerable. And there was never any escaping. Like, I was always at the forefront of everything that was happening. And it was terrifying. And there was just no point to breathe. Which meant it was exhausting. And it's hard enough doing 8 shows a week, regardless of what role you're playing. But to then have the stamina to play Veronica 8 shows a week, like if the run had been any longer, we all would have been entitled to holiday. But because it was only a 12-week run, none of us were entitled to holiday. So had it been like a 6-month run or a year's run, we all would have contractually been obligated to have holiday. Which then you then schedule your holidays in, and it makes it easier because then as you start to like flag and get tired, a holiday comes up. But 12 consecutive weeks, 8 shows a week, 151 shows. And I also made the mistake of, because we did 8 weeks at the other palace, 3 weeks off, and then 12 weeks at Haymarket. And in those 3 weeks off, I decided to schedule a book tour. So I just went from Heather's to book tour to Heather's and just, and I mean, someone said not to mention the illness you had. The reason I got ill is because I was just overworking myself and wasn't giving myself any time to rest. So I had tonsillitis for 3 months, which was really great. Really fun, really enjoyed that. And there's nothing, I hate taking time off work. I hate admitting that I'm ill. I hate admitting that I can't do my job. Thank you very much, LEH. Thank you. I hate admitting that I cannot do my job. it's the worst. So I will do everything I can to avoid that. But when I can't avoid it, I just have to take that time and just let myself get better. But that was definitely the most challenging role. Simply just because there's no breathing space and it's a very exposing role. So you need to have like nerves of steel to play Veronica, I think. The whole Colour Purple thing, it's messy. Steve Valentine, yes, I am an actress. Yeah, the whole Colour Purple thing made everyone in the theatre industry feel very uncomfortable. And I've had various different conversations with various different people about it. And I think we all very much felt similarly about it. For those of you that don't know what happened, I'm not going to go into it too much because it's like drama that I'm not involved in. I'm much more closely involved with it because it involves people I know and people that I'm close to, and like the James Charles thing is like, I don't know James Charles, I don't know Tati, whatever, I don't know what her name is, I don't know them, I don't know anyone that knows them. So but the whole Colour Purple thing, basically someone was cast in, I don't really know, to be honest, I don't really know the show The Colour Purple that well. I've never seen it. So I think it was the lead role. Celie, I think, is the part, which is an LGBT part. And the person who got cast in the role, shortly after she was announced, someone found a Facebook post that she had posted 5 years ago saying that she very much believed that being homosexual was wrong and that it was a choice, and that she would never believe otherwise. And it was like really awkward. But the thing is, it was brought up and someone said, because it was 5 years ago, and in all fairness to the person who found it and confronted her, they said, do you still feel this way? Is this still how you feel? And there was just radio silence from said person. I still don't think anything's really been said about it. There was just radio silence. And, you know, we all get brought up in certain ways. I've got friends who were, born into really hardcore Christian families and believed all of the things that come with, or all of the things that sometimes come with hardcore religious families. Part of which is, I say sometimes because there are loads of Christian religious, or not even Christian, just religious families out there who are all about forgiveness and loving everyone, and but in this particular case, I've got friends who were born into very, very religious families who then grew up and started to question it, who are now atheist, or who are still Christian but don't believe in the same thing that the rest of their families believe. But in this case, that wasn't the case. In this case, this was a person who was born into a religious family, who firmly believed that homosexuality was wrong, and that if you were part of the LGBT plus community, you were wrong and unnatural, and you weren't, so, and it's sad because, like I said, thank you very much, Kate J. I've had friends who have been born into those families and believed lots of those things, have said lots of those things, and then grown up and started to question it and realize that that isn't true and have changed their minds. So when that person messaged her and said, is this still what you believe? That could have been a moment for her to turn around and say, oh my God, I don't believe that anymore. And that isn't the case. And that was something I said 5 years ago when I did believe that once upon a time, and I can't believe I ever believed that. And that is not how I feel now, which is why I am taking that role to prove that, you know, it could have gone that way. But the fact that there was just radio silence and nothing was said, and lots of things happened behind the scenes that kind of proved that said actor still believed the same way. The role was taken away from her. And my wonderful friend Tashan is now playing the same part. So this is why, I'm sorry. This is why I feel much more sort of attached to the drama, because I'm very much like much more heavily involved within the community than I am the YouTube community. So yeah, my friend Tashan Williams is now playing that role, and I know that she very much does not believe those things. She is very much supportive of everyone and anyone. So yeah, it was a little bit tense for a while. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Hey, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to say this so wrong. Hayime? I'm so sorry if I've said that wrong, but thank you. I really appreciate you said you deal with tender issues very well and articulate them clearly. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Paige Turner, yes, I completely agree. There are so many queer people who are just like the spectrum, the LGBT plus spectrum is so vast, and I think every box on the West End alone ticks every LGBT plus letter in the acronym. So it is bizarre to me that you could be homophobic and in the theatre industry. Like, I'm so baffled by that. I don't understand how you could be homophobic and constantly be rubbing shoulders with people who are homosexuals and bi and trans and just like every letter of the LGBT plus acronym. I don't understand how you can be so against LGBT plus and yet be in one of the most LGBT plus heavy communities that there is. Like, musical theatre is like so heavily influenced and inspired by LGBT plus, and I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand. I love the theatre community. Thank you very much, Jackie Davis. Theatre is just, I mean, someone said beyond that to cast her in that role. I don't blame the people who cast her in that role at all, because I don't even think you're legally allowed to ask people personal questions like that when you go into a casting. I don't think you're allowed to be like, hey, are you homophobic? You know what I mean? I don't think you can ask questions like that in a casting. So I don't blame the people that cast her for not knowing that that was her belief before she went in. And I feel like they rectified the situation in exactly the way that everyone hoped that they would. So, you know, but yeah, theatre is just, theatre is one of the most welcoming, warm, so I'm just reading things as I go. Yeah, I mean, it's hard because I think there's a lot of legalities that come into play when, like, legally you wouldn't be allowed to ask someone whether they're gay or they're straight in a, I think that's a legality. I think you aren't allowed to ask questions like that because, yeah, it's like it's discrimination. Like if you're like, hey, are you gay? Then you can't play this role. Hey, are you straight? Well, you can't play this role. You know what I mean? Like you can't ask questions like that because you're asking personal questions and then deciding whether they get the role based on those personal questions. So yeah, it's kind of hard. But yeah, theatre is just one of the most amazing, welcoming, warm, loving and supportive communities. Like, oh God, it's just one of the best places. And it baffles me that someone with such hateful views of the people around them to sort of be in that community and be part of that community. I just find it so weird. So yeah, I'm very fascinated by it all and that whole drama thing. But yeah. Anyway, moving on. Got this one girl that's driving me mad. They're looking at that. It just doesn't want to sit with the rest of them. That's really weird. What's an important musical to you personally? I know I was in it, but I feel like Heathers is a really important musical. I feel like it touches on so many different topics and sort of hard-hitting subjects. I think it's a really important show for teenagers. Because I think it deals with those topics in a way that's light-hearted enough for a musical, but also really gets the point across. I also think it's not just a case of me thinking that Heathers is an important show. It's me knowing that Heathers is an important show because every night when I looked out into the audience, there would be teenagers, like girls and boys alike, just scattered throughout the theatre, dressed in their cosplay outfits, dressed in the colours, all wearing scrunchies, and all of them like sobbing at the end of the show because they recognise themselves on stage. And Heathers is just all about kindness and love winning. Kindness always wins. That is like the overriding message of Heathers. like Martha is the character who just stays true to herself from start to finish, and she is the basically the whole show is be like Martha. That's the message of the show. You need to be a Martha. Just reading all the questions. Sorry, there's loads coming in and I'm just trying to like focus on one. I'm so excited about the Back to the Future musical. I have lots of friends who have been doing workshops over the last last year or so. I actually this is so weird. When I was 20, 21, I auditioned for one of the workshops. But then like I auditioned for one of the workshops for Back to the Future, but then that workshop never happened. But I auditioned. It was the worst. It was one of the worst days of my life that day, the day that I auditioned for Back to the Future. In the morning, I had a meeting with Hodder and Stoughton. I'm going to say Stoughton, the publishers, because this was before any of my books had even been snapped up by publishers. So I had a meeting with them in the morning to see about whether they would want to publish All I Know Now. But on the train on the way there, it was the day that all of the accounts had come out about Alex Day. And Alex had stayed at my house the night before, and I thought it was going to be a lovely day. We were on the train on the way into London. I was going to do my meeting with Hodder and Stoughton, have lunch, because I had about 4 hours to kill between the meeting and my Back to the Future audition, and then go to my audition. And on the way there, I was just scrolling through my phone, and everyone was messaging me on Twitter being like, have you seen all the things that have just been written about your boyfriend? And I was like, no. And I was just sat on the train scrolling through. I think at the time there were like 4 accounts that come out, and by the time I came out of my meeting, there was like another 7. So yeah, I sat there just reading about all the times that my boyfriend had cheated on me with other girls, and how he'd like coerced them into doing things with them that they didn't want to do. That was a really good day. So I went into my book meeting, and my mind was just like not there. I wasn't in that meeting. My brain was just going, just going through all of the things that I'd just read. And I mean, there's a reason they didn't want my book. It's because they thought I was a nutcase when I walked into that room, like shaking and crying and looking like an idiot. I think I got through it by the skin of my teeth. And then I came out, and Alex was waiting for me, and I sat him down in a Starbucks and made him tell me everything. And I was very calm. And I made him tell me everything, which he did. And I remember just, I couldn't let it go because I was just so annoyed that I hadn't seen it coming. And I was like, you need to tell me everything, and I'm going to sit here and try my hardest to make sense of it. And you're going to sit there and help me make sense of it, no matter how long that takes. Because this is a lot for one person to process, and I'm going to need to ask you 1,000,001 questions about what was going on. Um, um, I mean, someone's asked, was he honest then? I don't know. Like, I thought he was being honest however many months before when I knew he cheated on me once. And he told me that there hadn't been anybody else, and I thought he was being honest then. So was he honest then? Maybe. I don't know. Like, it was interesting. But then, of course, I went into my Back to the Future audition having like cried for 5 hours. And I was just a complete mess. It was awful. It was like the worst audition I think I've ever done. I don't blame anyone for not casting me in that workshop. No, I don't speak to Alex Day. We don't talk. Why did me and Pete break up? I mean, it's not a question I feel I have to answer.